Have you ever wondered how the Amish manage to preserve eggs all winter without a modern refrigerator? In today's video, we're going to explore their centuries-old techniques, revealing the off-grid methods that keep this nutritious staple fresh for months. From water glass to lime water solutions, we'll dive into the practical steps and little-known insights that continue to fascinate homesteaders, prepping enthusiasts, and anyone curious about sustainable living. Number 1. Historical roots. Amish communities have a long-standing tradition of minimizing reliance on modern refrigeration by deploying resourceful strategies passed down through generations. Their focus on self-sufficiency and faith-based simplicity shapes every aspect of daily life, including how they handle perishable goods like eggs. Many of these practices trace back to Central European origins, where Mennonite and Anabaptist ancestors first learned to extend egg shelf life before migrating to North America. Once settled in rural regions, the Amish adapted to local conditions, gradually refining egg preservation methods to match the climate and the resources available on small homesteads. Families recognized early on that maintaining a stable supply of nutritious protein was essential for surviving harsh winters, especially in isolated farmlands without electricity. When settlers experimented with burying containers in the ground or submerging them in cool water troughs, they uncovered a universal principle: sealing eggs away from air infiltration helped slow spoilage. Over time, they embraced natural substances such as lime, clay, and homemade sealing solutions that could be prepared with minimal expense. Observers of Amish life note that this evolution was guided by trial, error, and constant dialogue within the community. Amish society remains diverse, with variations in egg preservation preferences influenced by local guidelines, regional climate, and which affiliations allow limited forms of modern innovation. For instance, some groups might permit propane-powered cooling systems in select cases, but the older, more traditional orders still prioritize off-grid techniques deeply rooted in their ancestors' experiences. These historical methods reflect broader Amish values: stewardship of resources, reliance on manual labor rather than automated technology, and a communal sense of problem-solving. The significance of storing eggs effectively without refrigeration becomes even greater in communities where daily chores already absorb much time: plowing fields with horses, hand-milking cows, and weaving quilts in candle-lit rooms. Amish documentaries and first-hand accounts confirm that the impetus for perfecting egg preservation extends beyond mere practicality. Households often have several children, and large families intensify the need to budget eggs carefully. Reducing waste while ensuring consistent access to nutrition is paramount. By leaning on centuries-old customs, the Amish exemplify how traditional lifestyles can remain relevant in modern times. They pass along these egg preservation skills during barn raisings, family gatherings, and informal teaching sessions, highlighting their collective commitment to living simply. Those interested in replicating off-grid living strategies often look to Amish practices as reliable, time-tested ways to cope with seasonal limitations. Even in an era of convenience-based shopping, their techniques for overwintering eggs resonate with people searching for authenticity and environmental responsibility. This emphasis on tradition, interwoven with practical ingenuity, forms the backdrop for the specific steps Amish families use to store eggs safely throughout the cold months. Number 2. Materials and setup. To implement Amish-inspired egg preservation techniques, one must begin by gathering the necessary materials, many of which are easily accessible in rural communities or homestead supply shops. The foundation lies in acquiring fresh, unwashed eggs laid by healthy hens. Because the shell's outer coating, bloom, offers a natural defense against bacteria, scrubbing that layer away can sabotage the entire preservation plan. Amish farmers typically collect eggs once or twice daily, ensuring minimal exposure to contaminants in the coop. Next, they examine each egg carefully to check for cracks or impurities. Even hairline fractures can spoil a full batch if unnoticed, so meticulous inspection is vital. Once the eggs pass scrutiny, Amish households decide which medium to use for long-term storage. Traditional mixtures include two primary solutions: a lime-based concoction, often referred to as slaked lime or pickling lime, and a more refined sodium silicate solution, sometimes called water glass. Lime is popular for its relatively low cost and availability in agricultural communities, as it's also used to improve soil pH and whitewash barns. Water glass, on the other hand, can sometimes be found in older general stores that cater to farmsteads or specialized homesteading suppliers. Both mixtures serve to seal eggs from air contact, extending shelf life dramatically. In addition to the preserving agent, families must obtain clean, food-grade containers. These might be ceramic crocks with lids, large glass jars, or sturdy plastic buckets that keep out pests and dirt. Some Amish households prefer ceramic for historical reasons, while others appreciate the practicality of sealable plastic with locking lids. In either case, rinsing and scalding the container in boiling water helps eliminate lingering bacteria. Amish people value quality water as well, boiling it beforehand or using a filtered source to remove impurities that could jeopardize the preservation solution. Since these communities typically avoid reliance on chlorinated municipal systems, many draw from wells. After heating, the water is allowed to cool, then stirred into the chosen preserving substance according to a specific ratio. Some might opt for a standard measure, like 1 ounce of lime per quart of water, while others rely on time-honored family formulas. Most Amish avoid measuring with precise modern devices, instead employing consistent scoop sizes honed through practice. Those with more progressive allowances may, however, use a basic kitchen scale or measuring cup. Through consistent routine, each family arrives at a mixture that works reliably within their climate conditions and available resources. Storage location is another important consideration. Because Amish communities prioritize off-grid living, cellars, root cellars, or cool basements become the default environment for keeping eggs stable. Many of these spaces are partially underground, where soil insulation helps maintain mild temperatures even in the depths of winter. By situating the egg containers in a corner free from temperature swings, families can keep the preserving solution intact for months on end. In warm regions, some households might adapt by placing containers in windowless rooms or under floors where direct sunlight cannot interfere. The entire setup, composed of fresh eggs, a protective mixture, and a consistent location, can be assembled at minimal cost compared to maintaining electric refrigeration. For those exploring off-grid living, the materials involved reflect a simple yet disciplined approach that holds significance beyond just the Amish context. Number 3. Step-by-step preservation. Properly storing eggs in these mixtures follows a logical sequence, each phase rooted in safety and thoroughness. First, individuals collect freshly laid eggs, ideally on the same day they are laid or within 24 hours. Early morning is a popular time in Amish life for chore rounds, which include gathering eggs and checking each nest box. Once the eggs are inside the home, they undergo the crack inspection. Any egg that appears compromised is either discarded or used immediately for cooking, never added to the preservation batch. Next, the selected container is placed on a stable surface and filled partially with the prepared solution, whether that is the lime water mixture or sodium silicate solution. Some Amish practice layering eggs as they go, pouring just enough solution to submerge a single level of eggs, then carefully placing each egg pointed end down into the container. Layer by layer, they add more eggs, ensuring no direct contact with air pockets. Once the eggs are completely submerged, they top off the container with extra solution to guarantee none protrude above the surface. A tight-fitting lid is then applied to keep debris out and reduce evaporation. Though the eggs can be placed in any orientation, many prefer the pointed end down approach because it helps the yolk remain centered over time. In the past, wooden lids or cloth covers weighted with rocks might have been used. Nowadays, more families trust snug plastic lids or sealed ceramic covers. Because cleanliness is paramount, Amish people meticulously wash their hands prior to handling new batches. This consistent practice helps eliminate cross-contamination. Should any egg show traces of dirt on its shell, the family might gently remove visible flecks without scrubbing off the bloom. They avoid chemical soaps or strong detergents that could compromise shell integrity. In some cases, if an egg is slightly smudged, individuals simply set it aside for immediate consumption to avoid introducing risks to the preservation container. Once the container is filled, the final step involves labeling or mentally noting the date. While Amish communities do not universally adopt modern calendars, many keep track through diaries, ledger entries, or shared memory. This helps them determine how long the eggs have been stored. The container is then carefully transferred to a cool spot with relatively consistent humidity. Basements or cellars are preferred, but any temperature range around 45 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 7 to 15 degrees Celsius is typically considered suitable. Excessively cold conditions, near freezing, can cause shells to crack, while high temperatures can accelerate spoilage. Once sealed, the eggs remain submerged for months without needing daily attention. The lime or water glass solution works by creating an airtight barrier, preventing bacteria from entering the shell. Unlike canning, which often relies on high heat, this approach harnesses chemistry and the innate properties of the egg's bloom to thwart spoilage. If done properly, families can remove eggs from storage as needed, even in midwinter, for meals ranging from hearty breakfasts to baked goods for church gatherings. The entire procedure exemplifies how Amish tradition emphasizes careful planning, orderly steps, and a deep understanding of natural processes. For anyone researching these methods through Amish documentaries or off-grid living forums, the step-by-step system offers a clear blueprint for replicating proven results. Number 4, maintaining quality over time. Even though the preservation solution prevents most bacteria from thriving, ongoing maintenance remains important for guaranteeing the best outcomes. Amish families follow a routine of gently stirring or agitating the storage container every few weeks, especially if the mixture is lime-based. This subtle movement redistributes any sediments that may settle at the bottom, ensuring each egg stays uniformly covered. The practice does not demand special equipment, just a sanitized wooden or plastic spoon that can reach the container's depths. If the solution levels drop, possibly due to minor evaporation or absorption, more lime water or water glass mixture is prepared and added to keep eggs thoroughly submerged. Temperature management is a continuous concern. In the heart of Amish life, where modern heating systems are seldom used, people rely on natural insulation and seasonal awareness. If exceptionally cold weather looms, families might place additional insulation, such as straw bales, around the container. They also occasionally examine the solution for odd discoloration or foul odors, which might indicate contamination. While rare, these warning signs prompt immediate disposal of compromised eggs to prevent issues from spreading. By addressing potential hazards at the earliest stage, Amish communities showcase their proactive mentality regarding food hygiene. When an egg is finally retrieved for cooking, caution dictates that each one is cracked into a separate dish, rather than directly into the main bowl or pan. This precautionary measure allows the cook to inspect the egg for normal color, clarity, and smell before proceeding. If it passes the inspection, it can be used in everything from classic Amish desserts like shoofly pie to substantial breakfasts of scrambled eggs, bacon, and fried potatoes. Rarely, a preserved egg may exhibit a chalky residue on the shell from the lime solution. A quick rinse in lukewarm water generally removes any remnants, leaving the interior unaffected. Water glass preserved eggs sometimes develop a slightly more gelatinous texture in the whites, but this rarely affects baking or recipes that rely on egg structure. Amish cooks are well versed in adapting recipes if slight variations in egg consistency occur. In some households, families set aside 2 or 3 containers of preserved eggs, rotating usage to ensure older batches are consumed first. This rotation principle is similar to how they handle canning and root cellar produce. Regular usage helps them continuously assess the quality of their stored eggs. Households with many children or frequent community gatherings might find a container depletes quickly, needing replenishment before the next big event. For smaller families, the eggs can last through the most frigid months, offering a dependable protein supply when fresh laying slows or stops altogether. Throughout this period, families remain mindful that preserved eggs are best suited for thorough cooking. Although many claim these solutions keep eggs safe enough to eat in various forms, Amish tradition emphasizes well-cooked dishes, aligning with broader homesteading advice on food safety. The entire framework of routine checks, stable temperature, and measured retrieval underscores the Amish commitment to consistency and mindful living. Number 5, beyond the basics. Beyond the immediate act of sealing eggs in a container, Amish communities integrate egg preservation into a broader context that includes poultry management, communal sharing, and creative culinary applications. Families nurture hens with well-balanced diets, corn, kitchen scraps, natural forage, in order to bolster stronger shells. They avoid industrial additives, relying on simpler feed compositions that align with their organic perspective on farm life. Because sturdy shells are less prone to cracking, properly nourished birds directly enhance preservation success rates. Some Amish households opt to preserve eggs for group events, weddings, or church suppers that draw large crowds of relatives and friends. In these settings, having a ready stockpile of safe, usable eggs is invaluable, reducing the need for purchasing extras from outside sources. This approach also extends the concept of self-reliance to the entire community, as families with surplus eggs might share or trade with neighbors who face shortages. Observers of Amish documentaries often highlight how these communal ties underpin everyday life. If one family's chickens fall ill, another might step in with preserved eggs to help them through a lean season. Such mutual assistance fosters collective resilience. When it comes to food preparation, Amish recipes regularly call for eggs in breads, pies, puddings, and noodles. Many Amish women are renowned for their baking prowess, and robust egg preservation ensures they can churn out delicacies even in winter, when hens naturally slow production. Homemade noodles are especially prevalent at Amish gatherings, where the dough's texture benefits from the consistent protein in well-preserved eggs. Additionally, preserved eggs can appear in savory offerings like casseroles and quiches, demonstrating remarkable versatility. Amish lifestyle experts who give talks or workshops on traditional cooking methods frequently emphasize this synergy between preservation and a wide array of recipes. In some locales, Amish families experiment with slightly different methods, such as salting or smoking, although these techniques are more typical for meat preservation. Creative adaptations might arise if a particular settlement has unique local ingredients or restrictions on certain chemicals. While not universally practiced, these smaller-scale adaptations showcase the Amish penchant for innovation within the bounds of modest living. They reflect an overall ethos that values practicality and community benefit. Even some non-Amish off-grid dwellers or preppers adopt these same principles, exchanging tips through YouTube channels and online forums. Collaborating across cultural boundaries, they highlight how egg preservation transcends purely Amish concerns. People worldwide, intrigued by simpler living, discover that robust methods initially honed in Amish life can dovetail with modern sustainability movements. This open exchange of techniques underscores the timeless relevance of methods grounded in respect for nature, frugality, and collaboration. Number 6. Relevance in modern off-grid living. Although the Amish are best known for their horse-drawn buggies, plain dress, and aversion to certain technologies, their egg preservation practices resonate with diverse audiences exploring self-sufficient lifestyles. Individuals participating in homesteading, tiny house living, or survivalist planning often explore Amish techniques precisely because these communities have spent centuries refining them without dependence on electricity. For those seeking autonomy from power grids, perhaps due to environmental concerns or financial constraints, the Amish model offers functional strategies that require minimal specialized gear. Preserving eggs in lime or water glass eliminates the constant draw of electricity needed to run a large refrigerator or freezer. While some modern homesteaders do incorporate solar panels or wind energy, they often prefer to reserve those resources for essential lighting or running necessary equipment rather than dedicating precious power to cooling systems. Amish documentaries frequently depict families living fulfilling lives with minimal reliance on outside infrastructure. Viewers fascinated by that simplicity discover that egg preservation is only one example among many of how Amish people stay connected to the rhythms of nature. This alignment with seasonal cycles fosters a deeper understanding of how to pace chores, store harvests, and ration food for maximum longevity. Because the need for fresh eggs doesn't vanish in winter, these communities effectively spread the bounty of summer through colder months, demonstrating a holistic approach to resource management. Off-grid proponents regard such approaches as both eco-conscious and economically practical, especially in times of global uncertainty or unexpected supply chain disruptions. Adapting these lessons to modern contexts, individuals in suburban or urban environments have used smaller containers in insulated closets or even improvised mini-cellars in their apartments. The capacity to replicate Amish preservation methods in non-rural settings illustrates how the fundamental principles, cleanliness, thorough submersion, temperature control, are universally applicable. Online communities share experiences of preserving dozens of eggs for anywhere from 5 to 10 months without significant spoilage. Alongside these success stories come cautionary tales of ignoring cracks, forgetting to monitor water levels, or using older, heavily soiled eggs. Each anecdote underscores the same principle: vigilance and consistency determine success. For more advanced practitioners of off-grid living, the Amish system of communal collaboration also stands out as a potential framework for local support networks. While not everyone can or wants to integrate faith-based constraints or dress codes, the spirit of neighborly cooperation transcends denominational lines. Egg preservation, for example, becomes a shared skill that neighbors can teach each other. In certain places, group workshops or homesteader meetups feature practical demonstrations of Amish-style egg storage. Participants leave with first-hand experience mixing lime solutions, submerging fresh eggs, and learning how to keep them edible for months. Such gatherings promote the same communal ethos that the Amish rely on for broader agricultural success. Everyone invests time and labor to ensure collective well-being.